Welcome to another video, the same every time. GCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that are, apart from the numbers, the same every time. Still looking at upper and lower bounds. 3 marks for this question. Quite a nice question because quite a lot of interesting stuff is involved here. First of all, there's a formula, P equals 2 times W plus 2 times H. And if you've been watching the previous videos, don't make the fatal mistake in this kind of question. What you need to do is work out the upper and lower bounds first for each quantity and then substitute them in the formula. Do not work out the formula first and then try to work out the upper and lower bounds of the answer. That's the common mistake with these questions. Let's see what we do here. They are rounded to significant figures, which adds an extra level of difficulty to this question. But we can just follow the method with this because, no surprises, it's the same every time. So these two quantities, W and H, have been rounded to 2 significant figures. Well, it's quite straightforward what we need to do here. So W, I just need to take the actual value they give me for W there, which is 11, and then underneath each digit, what I need to do is just write down a 0. Now I'm going to just continue the 11 with an 11.0, and then I just need to continue one more place with a 5. So to work out the upper and lower bounds of W, I write down the actual number, W, which is 11, and then put zeros underneath each of the digits of the actual W that they give me in the question. And then I need to add one more digit, which has to be a 5. So 11.0 and then 0.05. So to get the upper bound for W, I have to add. So that's going to give me 11.5. So my upper bound for W is going to be 11.5. Let me write it down here. And lower bound for W would be 11 minus 0.5, which is going to give me 10.5. So the lower bound for W is 10.5. Now I do exactly the same thing, or the same idea anyhow, for the other quantity, which is the quantity they've called H. So H is 9.5, so 9.5. And then what I have to do, underneath each of the digits that they give me with the H, I have to write down zeros and then just another 5. So to get the upper bound, I add 9.5 plus 0.05. That's going to give me 9.55. And to get the lower bound, I subtract 9.5 minus 0.05. It's always the subtraction that's a little bit trickier to do, I find. Anyway, that gives me 9.45. So my upper and lower bounds for H are 9.55 and 9.45. Now I substitute those into the formula. I have to work out my upper and lower bounds first, and then I substitute those into the formula. So the lower bound for P, first of all they say find the lower bound for P. So P is 2 times W plus 2 times H. Well, to get this lower bound for this, the smallest possible value for P, I must use the smallest possible value for W, which is the lower bound. So that's 10.5. And then plus the smallest possible value for H, which is 9.45. And that will give me my lower bound for P. So that's going to give me 2 times 10.5 plus 2 times 9.45, and that's 39.9. 39.9 for that one. And the upper bound, I must substitute into my formula for P the biggest value of W and the biggest possible value for H. Well, the biggest value for W is 11.5, and the biggest value for H is 9.55. So calculator job probably to work this out. 2 times 11.5 plus 2 times 9.55, and that's going to give me 42.1. So there we are. There we go. Same every time. Just be a little bit careful here. You have to know the method for working out upper and lower bounds when it is significant figures. And that's actually exactly the same method if it is decimal places. Put the zeros underneath and add an extra 5. Also, don't forget to work out your upper and lower bounds first before you substitute into the formula. Do not substitute 11 and 9.5 into the formula and then try to work out the upper and lower bounds of the answers. That's a very common mistake. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope the video has been useful to you, and I will return on the next one.